Hi everyone, Dr. Joanne Cacciatore here. I was cleaning out an old trunk and I stumbled on a letter that I wanted to share with you that I got 21 years ago in October. It's got a little water damage, but I can still read it. It's really moving. And I suppose that's part of the reason why I wanted to share it with you today. 24 years ago, I'm going to skip certain parts of it because of privacy, but 24 years ago, I'm now 45. My husband and I had a son who was born prematurely and only lived for a day and a half. At that time, there were many strikes against us in terms of helping us deal with our loss. First, the hospital was not even going to let me see my baby. They said they didn't think it was good for me to see him because if he died, it would be more difficult for me. Fortunately, though I was only 21, I did demand to see him, though I never got to hold him. Next, after he died, my nurse came in and found me crying and said I shouldn't be crying because there were people who lost their children when they were older, so I had nothing to cry about. We never named our baby. After the way everyone treated the whole incident, it didn't seem like we should do it. Well, if those things weren't enough to bury our grief, when I went home from the hospital, my mother had packed away all the evidence that I was ever pregnant. Friends and family said things like, "Don't worry, you'll have another child and you'll forget about this." Needless to say, we buried our grief, and we thought that by not dealing with it, it would disappear. Instead, it got preserved in a bubble inside of us just waiting to burst, which is what happened several years ago. And I'm going to skip to the end of her letter where she says, "If only we had been allowed to hold him, to name him, to have a service for him, and most of all, not be ashamed that we remembered him and thought of him. So please know that you're doing a wonderful service for people, and that even though it's been 24 years since our baby's death, that you and your website have been a real comfort to me. Thank you, Cindy." I reached out to Cindy after I got the letter. I remember this well. I reached out to her and we had a phone conversation. And I told her that she could name her child. And she did. She named him Joshua. And so I think she doesn't have the date, but for some reason, it seems like it was around this time of year. And so I thought I would share this letter in honor of Joshua and all the mamas in history who have been pushed to the margins by the systems that lied to them and told them that their babies were not important. So I hope this letter moves you as much as it moved me then and now. And I hope that we can glean from this how important it is to remember that, as the writer Catherine Porter said, the past is never where we think we left it. Thanks for listening.